You guys do this all the time in this religion. The words don't mean what they say because it's not favorable. We know what suckle means. Why is it difficult and all of a sudden it changes and well, suckle doesn't mean to suckle. It means to pour in a cup and drink from the cup. What? Would you ever tell a woman to suckle a grown man who isn't her husband?
Sorry? Would I ever tell a woman to suckle a grown man who is not her husband? Yeah, I know what you're about to bring up, just in reference. So the short answer would be, no, I would not tell her that. Good. But I know you're about to bring up, I don't know the exact people. It was Sudaima. I don't know who it was, but in this, who was it? Just out of
I forget the name too, but I think you're close to it. I think it was Allah or something like that.
Yeah, but anyways, right? Like, I mean, so in the case of this, we would. The suckling wasn't actually done, right? It was basically like
it was done.
As far as I'm aware, because I don't want to speak without knowledge on a certain topic.
Let me help you. It was done. She said that she went and suckled him.
As far as I know, so I have not read the hadith, but as far as I know, what I've heard at one point from scholars, it was that I think the man consumed like the breast milk of her or something.
Yeah, from her breast.
I don't know if it was a direct suckling though. I think that's what Albani says at least.
If anybody comes and says that she did not suckle him, they're lying because she said that she suckled him. If they come and say, oh well, yeah, breastfeeding doesn't mean breastfeeding. It means to just drink of the milk from the breast, not directly. That's not breastfeeding anymore, dude. They're making stuff up to patch up the hadith to make it better. And we have to have enough sense to be able to recognize when people are doing that to make the religion, like fix the religion. Okay. So like with our critical thinking, we know what breastfeeding is. Breastfeeding doesn't all of a sudden change because it makes the religion look bad.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Is like if you look at the commentary from Ibn Hajar and Imam al-Nawawi, they're what we'd say is they're authoritative in interpreting the hadith. They mentioned that it was put in a cup for him to drink it. And that was because he was raised by her. That's because he was raised by her, and after that, it was basically to make it make her like a mahram.
Do you agree that putting milk in a cup is not breastfeeding?
It's not. I don't know how you define breastfeeding, but it's not suckling. It was not.
You don't know how we define breastfeeding?
If you like suckle on, like, I don't want to be explicit.
Suckle means to suckle on the breast.
But suckling is different than putting breast milk in a cup and drinking, right? Like
exactly. So it says that she suckled him.
So I'll answer you like this, because I don't want to be disingenuous, speak without knowledge. So from what I know, is that all of the scholars, including Ibn Hajar, Imam al-Nawawi, that I know of, all of the major scholars, they mentioned that this was not a direct suckling. It was breast milk that was put in a cup that he drank, and because of that, that's the interpretation. Like I said, now I've not read the hadith. I'll look more into the language of it if it contradicts it. But yeah, the answer is no. So I don't accept the premise that the Prophet ﷺ ordered that, but I'll look into it more. So I don't know I'm not familiar with the argument.
All right, let's look into it. So, I got the hadith right here for you.
No problem.
Okay, it says, Aisha reported that Salfa bint Suhail came to Allah's apostle and said, Messenger of Allah, I see on the face of Abu Hudayfa signs of disgust on entering of Salim into our house, whereupon Allah's apostle said, suckle him. She said, how can I suckle him as he is a grown-up man? All right. This isn't pouring milk in a bottle or a cup. Allah's messenger smiled and said, I already know that he is a young man. Amr has made this addition in his narration that he participated in the Battle of Badr, and in the narration of Ibn Umar, the words are, Allah's messenger laughed. Now, here's a continuation of this. If we go to the next one, it says that she went and actually did it. All right, so same thing. Salim has attained as men attain, so he's grown, and he understands what they understand, and he enters our house freely. I, however, perceive that something in the heart of Abu Hudayfa, whereupon Allah's apostle said to her, suckle him, and you would become unlawful for him, and which Abu Hudayfa feels in his heart will disappear. So that discomfort he feels with him walking around the house be gone. She returned and said, so I suckled him, and what was in the heart of Abu Hudayfa disappeared. So she did what Muhammad told her to do, which was she suckled that man.
Yeah, man. I think that, I have to look into it, bro. I don't know. I mean,
Sure.
I would just say that I think that as far as there could be another narration where it mentioned. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'll say.
Yeah, there's nothing else that says anything different from the fact that she suckled him and to suckle him. Nothing says that she poured milk in a cup or something like that and then gave it to him.
So I'll say this is that, I'm going to be honest, don't know the answer to the argument.
Sure. There's no, yeah, brother, there's not an answer for you to give. Like, I'm not telling you to solve this.
No. I understand your argument, but the reason I'm skeptical, and I'll tell you why, is because for the previous arguments that you've made, I think that there have been some misinterpretations on your part that I can't answer. And because of that, so for example, what I'm saying is that if I don't know something, I'm not going to insist on there being one interpretation. Whereas I feel like you're doing that, at least in the previous case. For this case, I don't know if you're not. I would be disingenuous to make a claim on that. But
okay.
I mean, for example, when you talk about the hitting of the wife, for example, with the previous guest, or what was the one after him? So I'm not recalling it. The orphan girl, right? I think there's some clear answers there, But I could provide those if you want. We could have a discussion on that. But yeah, man, I'll definitely look into the hadith of the breastfeeding. But yeah, as far as I know, I mean, the scholars came to
basically, just really quick. So basically, on face value with what the hadith says, you would never tell a woman to do what Muhammad told this woman to do, right?
I don't know what the face value of the hadith is because I don't know Arabic. But I would say, if you're talking about directly from the breast, like taking the milk, like if you're I wouldn't tell someone to do that. No.
Okay, so then in this case, you're better than Muhammad.
No, man, I wouldn't say that.
You are. You're better than Muhammad. You wouldn't tell a woman to suckle a man, to stick her breast in his mouth.
But see that you're adding the words, man. I don't know. Hey,
that's what it is. That's what it means to suckle. We're not dumb, bro. You're a critical thinker. I'm a critical thinker. We know what it means to suckle somebody. We know what that means. We know what it means to suckle.
Yeah, so here if the scholars have basically not agreed with the definition of suckling we're talking about, they came to that conclusion somehow. You know what I mean, right? So
who?
Ibn Hajar, Imam an-Nawawi, their commentary of hadith.
Yeah, you would have to show me what it is that gives them the logical conclusion that suckling.
Sure, I mean here's the thing.
Suckling. You do you hear that?
Here's the thing, man.
Hold on. Let's take it. We gotta go slow with this.
Gotcha, no problem.
You guys do this all the time in this religion.
Man,
the words don't mean what they say because it's not favorable. We know what suckle means. Why is it difficult and all of a sudden it changes and suckle doesn't mean to suckle, it means to pour in a cup and drink from the cup. What? That seriously, does that make sense to you logically? I want to know honestly.
Can you let me respond a little bit?
I want to know if that makes sense to you, and you can elaborate if you want. Does it make sense that suckle doesn't mean to actually suckle?
No, what you said. No, yeah.
Drink from the cup.
Can I answer and qualify?
Yes.
Yeah. So what you said makes sense. What I agree. What you said made sense. But here's the difference, right? Is would you agree that there's people who misinterpret passages in whether it be the Quran or the Bible at face value, but when they read the exegesis of it, they understand the true meaning? So if you have a consensus of scholars, the vast majority of them, basically saying here is what X passage means, and there's no motivation for them to lie, because I don't think you actually say that the Islamic scholars would lie about the Prophet because you disagree.
Absolutely, with they do it all the time.
Really? So you think that the scholars of Islam, they are you wouldn't say they're unapologetic of the Prophet?
No.
But I thought you said you don't like Islam, you think Islam's an evil religion, but you think the scholars of Islam and the followers of the hadith, the major scholars, they're interpreting it through their own lens, they're not deriving it.
In a lot of places they're making up stuff that nowhere in the Quran or the hadith say what they're saying. It doesn't even point to what they're saying, and they just come up with these conclusions and make stuff up to put Islam, I guess, in a better light or make things easier or whatever. They do that all the time.
All of the scholars.
I don't know all of the scholars, but a lot of them.
Yeah,
do
man.
that.
So yeah, that's the thing, bro. Is if I just think that there's maybe some basis. That's all I'm saying. So I'm saying, yeah, at face value, I don't know, but I feel like if you have a consensus of the scholars who don't interpret it in that way, then I feel like there's some more whether it be another hadith that that's narrated and ruled a bit differently, whether it be the hadith not being mass transmitted, even though it's sahih, whether like the Arabic word used is different. I don't know. So I'm saying, I'm not making an argument or a case against. I just don't know the argument. So I'm just saying these are in the realm of possibilities. So if I don't know something, I'm not going to insist on the argument against it. That's
I got you. So to be clear, you're saying it does make sense that suckle means to suckle. And if a scholar is coming up with saying that suckle doesn't mean to suckle, but to pour in a cup or something and drink from the cup, and then that counts as suckling, they're going to need some great evidence to actually demonstrate that from the text. And
yeah, of course, you'll need evidence to demonstrate that. So I'll look into that for sure. I'll see. If there's no evidence to that, then I don't know.
All right. So at least for now, you're better than Muhammad in this case.
All right, man. I don't know. You don't have to come in with the attacks, but that's okay.
What? Guys, no, what? Cloudy.
Yeah, man.
How that I just gave you a compliment and you took it as an attack.
It's not a compliment to a Muslim, man. If I say you're better than Jesus, you wouldn't accept you.
Well, that would just be a lie.
Yeah, man. So I'd say you're also lying.
Well, you know what? What I would have you do is make a live stream that I can join where you say Avery is better morally than Jesus, and we can talk about that. But but saying
I'd be glad to do it on this live stream if you're down. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. Yeah, you think that I'm morally better than Jesus?
Dude, I think you're like significantly morally better than Jesus in the New Testament, man.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we can talk about that one day.
Yeah,
absolutely. So,
yeah, man.
So that's you're complimenting me on my morality.
Yeah,
you're not attacking me. So in the same way, I'm complimenting you on your morality. You're better than Muhammad.
All right, man. Okay. I mean, if that's fair. I guess I misinterpreted you, but yeah, I think you're like you have much more outstanding moral character than Jesus of the New Testament.
Okay, so I see how this is. So, would you ever sleep with a 9-year-old girl?
No.
Why not?
Yeah, because a 9-year-old is not physically and mentally mature.
So you think it's wrong to sleep with a 9-year-old?
Yeah, it is.
Are you what sect are you? Sunni, Shia?
No, I'm Sunni, bro. So yeah, let me explain. The Prophet. So this is also time bound, right? So, for example, if I say like sleep with a 9-year-old girl, the reason that a lot of your followers and a lot of the Christians will just say like, oh, that's so disturbing, very disturbing, is because they have like a conception of the 9-year-old girl, which is a very fair conception of a schoolgirl in a backpack with going like walking around. But this is not like applicable to all times. So for example, if you look at the age of consent in the United States in like the mid 1800s, it was 10 years old, right?
What does that have to do?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. So that's because when you have societies as recently as like 200 to 300 years ago, not even 1400 years ago, you had people who at around the age of 10 years old, right, would essentially leave their houses, right, and live independently per se, right? And so mental maturity was defined by how literate you are. And this is not even the standard that's just set by Islam.
I'm still not understanding the connection of Muhammad's actions.
So are you Catholic, Avery? I'm not sure.
No, I don't discuss that.
Okay, no worries.
But what does that have to do?
Let me explain.
Hold on, please, because you're not getting to it. You said you're going to get to it, and you're not getting.
I'll be more.
So hold on a second.
Yeah,
Excuse me, Cloudy. So now I got to get you back on track because you're appealing to United States a few hundred years ago, and this, in society.
Sorry, I'll be more concise. Yeah, go ahead.
Is morality subjective?
No, it's objective.
It's objective. Okay.
Yes, correct.
So is sleeping with a 9-year-old girl objectively right or wrong? Yeah.
So let me answer that. But I can't. It's not a right or wrong answer for me. If that's fair. Okay. So, I'll tell you why.
It's either sleeping with a 9-year-old is good and
I'll give you this,
or morally debased.
Let me answer. I'll say it's okay. You know what? I'll say in this time period it's wrong. But let me tell you why it's objective first. Let me qualify.
It's relative again.
Can you let me explain why it's not relative?
Please.
All right, perfect. So yeah, so the statement the statement marrying a 9-year-old is wrong, that is time bound. So the principle is objective. The principle is that marrying someone who is physically immature and prepubescent and mentally immature is wrong. That's the moral principle we operate on. And that moral principle differentiates between the time period you're in. So in the 1500s or in the year 600, that principle is not the same as today. So for example, if I say, like, is killing an apostate objectively wrong? In the Old Testament, it's fine, right? But in the New Testament, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's okay in the New Testament too, I'm not too sure, right? But in the New Testament, it's wrong. So certain moral principles can remain constant with the conditions changing over time. You understand? So the answer to you would be, yeah, objectively, it's wrong in this time because the person is not mentally mature, but in a different time era, it would not be. I hope
What if a 9-year-old is mentally mature?
No, in today's day and age, yeah, it's impossible.
Well, what if?
No, there's no what if. That's an impossible.
It is. What if a 9-year-old was what you consider mentally mature?
Yeah. So if you're talking about like in some remote village or some like nomadic society, which could exist like remote, I guess it is possible. But if you're talking about like most societies,
is it okay to sleep with that 9-year-old in that little tribe or society somewhere?
Dude, I know you're trying to get like the clip for your real page.
Notice how you're saying
it's more nuanced. Like,
notice how you're saying that I'm trying to get a clip when I'm asking you very straightforward questions based on the standards that you build.
Yeah, but I'm giving you a
now all of a sudden, hold on a second. No. Please don't interrupt me, please.
Go ahead.
Now all of a sudden, when I ask you straightforward questions based on the standards you build, you muddy the waters when I ask you the question and you say, "No, I know you're just trying to get a clip right now." Don't do that. Don't be dishonest here and disrespect the conversation we're having. I'm asking you a straight up real question. And so that doesn't mean that I have ulterior motives. Say it with your chest. Is it okay to sleep with that 9-year-old who has, in some tribe, who has quote unquote mental maturity?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter the age. If you're mentally mature or fit and physically mature, you're ready for marriage.
So is that a yes? It's okay to sleep with that 9-year-old?
So yeah, if there is a situation in any time period of society, which doesn't apply to our society today, where a 9-year-old is physically and mentally mature,
again, it's relative.
The answer is yes. Yeah, I just told you.
So yes, it's okay.
Yeah, I just explained it. I said yes and qualified. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, bro. Oh, you can have that, man. Enjoy Islam, okay?
All right, man.
Enjoy Islam. You see what Muslims have to do? This isn't about me debunking you. This isn't about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to try to defend or debunk or prove you. This is not a stream where I'm proving you wrong. This is a stream where we are exposing the depravity of Islam. That's it. So if you think that there are cases where 9-year-olds are eligible to be slept with, you can have it. Enjoy Islam. This is what Islam do you guys see? You see how sick this religion is? How sick this cult is? Sick. This is what you become when you join Islam, guys. When you say your Shahada, this is what you're going to have to defend and argue for. You're going to have to defend PDF-philia. This is Islam. You guys see the difference with this stream and others? In this stream, okay, you got it. Oh, there's nothing wrong with telling Muhammad to tell a woman to put her breast in another man's mouth and shit. Cool. All right. Welcome. Hey, enjoy Islam. There's nothing wrong with sleeping with a little 9-year-old, 8-year-old who's mentally mature. Hey, you got it. Enjoy Islam. It's okay to curse a little orphan girl. Hey, you got it. Enjoy Islam. This stream is about demonstrating the depths that Muslims are willing to go to defend Muhammad. That's what we're doing here. Shout out to Muslim Lantern for inspiring this live stream. Shout out to Muslim Lantern for inspiring this live stream. What's a debate? Muslim Lantern, thank you, man. Thank you for launching that video. Thank you for your slimy tactics, your cowardice. Thank you for being the clown that you are, because today we are glorifying God by exposing the deeds of the devil and exposing the fruit of the devil in Islam. Thank you, Muslim Lantern. It wasn't flesh and blood that told you to drop that video when you did. I'll say that. It was not flesh and blood that told you to drop that video, Muslim Lantern, when you did. But I think you might have got some inspiration.
Thank you for watching. If you've watched this far, I encourage you, don't just react emotionally. Think, examine, test the claims. Truth is not determined by volume, tradition, or majority. It's determined by what is true. If you disagree, that's fine. Bring evidence, bring sources, bring logic. But slogans, insults, and repetition are not arguments. The goal here isn't to win debates or humiliate anyone. The goal is clarity, consistency, and truth. If you found value in this, like the video, share it, and follow the page, because these conversations matter. And remember, faith that fears questions is not faith worth defending. See you in the next video.